We have the brightest spark in the Indian bureaucracy today with us. And if anybody has read about him earlier, he comes with a very strong IT background. He used to be in the Telangana cadre where he actually by himself did spearhead launching of a couple of sites. Then he's also made some very decisive moves in the defense sector where he was there, and we're sort of very fortunate to have him here when we are at an inflection point for the industry. So he's known to be one bureaucrat who likes to express himself. He's very, very accessible, and more than a one-way governance regulation, he's a gentleman who's known to work with the industry and really does take feedback very, very positively and has a great vision on how they can build and give impetus to all of us who are actually at the cusp of an exponential growth. So with that, I'd like to welcome him and welcome him to deliver a small speech so that we get to know more about his views and what he's thinking and what his plans are.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Very happy to be part of the India Digital Summit hosted by the Internet and Mobile Association of India. Friends, I think all of us would agree that India is currently going through a phase of digital revolution, if I may use that, transformation. And the media and the entertainment sector, which I have come here to represent, is witnessing a rapid shift due to the availability of the online media content, an increase in the accessibility of media content over internet due to the affordable smartphones that we all carry in our pockets and the internet data is helping this cause. How is India becoming a digital first nation? I mean, let's look at the spread and growth of the digital infrastructure. We have more than 90 crore internet users. This is a TRI report, December 2023. More than 60 crore smartphone users, industry estimate. Connected TVs in our country have roughly crossing a 4 crore number, 4 crore mark, 40 million number. And digital ecosystem has almost become integral part of the life of the Indian citizens. You know, friends, if you look at it, around 84% of smartphone users in India check their phones every 15 minutes. And the kind of time that an average Indian spends on smartphone is approximately 5 hours now. Again, consulting estimates. And the mobile data traffic on our smartphones in 2023 has crossed the milestone of 30 gigabytes per month in 2023, and this has possibly happened for the first time. I keep saying that, you know, the kind of data that we in this generation are exposed to every hour would have been the data our forefathers would have possibly encountered in their entire lives. I mean, that's if we could quantify the data into terabytes, etc., I think the estimate would be every hour of ours would be equal to their entire life. That's the kind of data explosion that our life is going through. Coming back to the media and the entertainment sector, the media and the entertainment sector is a huge sector and plays a pivotal role, and it's been growing at phenomenal 20%, and it's approximately 2 lakh crores. That's the size of the media and the entertainment sector. In that, the digital media segment is the second largest subsegment, which actually has been showing a growth of approximately 30%. Approximately 30% would mean around 60,000 crores. The film segment has also been growing phenomenally. It's almost 85% growth rate, and it's reached 17,000 crores as compared to the last year, which when it used to be only 9,300 crores. And the next year again, you might see further increase into it, and it might become a 22,000 crore industry. Friends, in our country, over 1,600 films are released in a year. And out of that, almost 300 odd films get released overseas as well. We've all seen, after 3 decades, Srinagar has got its first multiplex cinema hall. And this is bringing entertainment to the youth in Jammu and Kashmir. So this is the kind of growth that this segment is seeing. But on the digital platforms, over 200 films have been released on digital platforms that is last year. And that includes over 75 films which were released directly on the digital platform without a theatrical release. And this is a belief that this particular trend is going to be continuing at a much, much greater pace. When it comes to the online gaming industry, close to about 13,500 crores, phenomenal growth of 34%. And we expect that this industry is again going to grow at a CAGR of 20%, and by next year, it should be around 23,000 crores. Animation and the VFX segment is also growing phenomenally. It's close to around 30% growth rate. And it's going to be around a $2 billion industry by 2025. And the animation segment is also seeing huge demand coming in from the OTT platforms and especially the kids channels. Friends, the OTT platforms have been contributing to the audiovisual services sector. There are close to 60 OTT platforms operating in India. 60. We only hear a few of them here and there, but it's like 60 OTT platforms working in India. And a lot of them are also in regional languages. 30% of OTT originals are being now made in regional languages. And this number, which was 30% last year, is now this year going to be around 50%. So this again goes to show how broad-based this growth in content development is happening in our country. The revenues, which when you look at the OTT segment, are also huge. And because now we have close to about 12 crore active paid OTT subscribers in our country. That's a huge number. And because of all this, a lot of foreign investment also is coming into our country. You see a lot of money flowing into our country and a lot of content coming in. And we expect that the investments in the original OTT content is forecast to grow to 30,000 crores, and half of it would possibly come in from the foreign sources. And besides the money part of it, the investment part of it, a lot of it also catapults us and takes us to manifest and show our prowess, our soft power. And we have noticed it. We have the Elephant Whisperers, which bagged the Oscar in 2023. And I think this becomes a huge opportunity for us to showcase our potential in our might on the soft side. And there are a lot of international markets also which are developing in OTT. We have countries like UAE, US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. All these are important international markets for over-the-top services that we have. And I think this is going to help us expand the reach of Indian content in foreign shores and to foreign audiences. There are a lot of efforts being made by government to provide boost to the media and the entertainment sector. And digital media entertainment belongs to that particular thing. In fact, the initiatives and the transformation that India is witnessing through the Digital India initiatives, that's helping us build digital infrastructure, internet connectivity, and all this is benefiting the entertainment and the digital content sectors immensely. A lot of regulatory changes also are being brought in. In fact, the recent amendment to the Cinematograph Act 1952 it now provides for strict penalties against film piracy. And there's also a mechanism which involves providing takedown notices to intermediaries to protect the copyright holders, something that would be very helpful to the uh, media world. The information technology guidelines, that is the intermediary guidelines and digital media ethics code that we have in 2021, applicable to the digital news publishers and all the OTT platforms, it also ensures that there is a content compliance, and it provides a mechanism to address citizen grievances, especially with regards to the content on digital media. It's also a fact that the animation, visual effects, gaming, comics and extended reality sector is going to witness a huge growth over the next decade. And we're planning to set up a National Center of Excellence in Maharashtra, here in Mumbai. And the objective of this Center of Excellence is to create a world-class talent pool in India, which can cater to the Indian as well as the global industry at an affordable cost. And in addition to conducting academic courses, the Center of Excellence will also involve setting up incubation centers and provide latest infrastructure and technology to the manufacturing and design companies, and also act as a mentoring institution and will provide a lot of hand-holding support to the AVGC industry. At the same time, there are a lot of efforts being made to provide assistance to film product promotion and film production in our country. In fact, we have recently created a scheme which helps us to attract international projects, significant international projects, an incentive scheme, and we are 30 crore, up to 30 crore cost of production of foreign films in India is can be reimbursed to those companies. And this helps us do a lot of co-production treaties with multiple countries and also create a lot of audiovisual co-productions. At the same time, live shoots, etc., bonuses available. So broadly, a lot of incentives available for foreign film producers and studios to come and shoot in India, which would again help a lot of digital content and digital industry. We also have the Film Facilitation Office, which is our single window clearance and facilitation point for producers and production companies. And now we have this portal which seamlessly integrates all these aspects so that film production in India is facilitated. All of you are aware that FDI limits have been enhanced from 74% to 100% in cable and DTH sector. Besides this, we also have a lot of film festivals being conducted. We have the International Film Festival of India, the Mumbai International Film Festival. We also participate in multiple international film festivals, and we also provide support to the industry to participate in such festivals. A lot of work is also happening in terms of accessibility standards so that the entertainment content, especially on the online side, is also available to the Divyangans in our country. Friends, there are a lot of efforts also being made for providing skill support to the filmmakers, animators, script writers, etc. And I think all that is going to help the digital content creation in the media and the entertainment segment. Coming to the digital advertising aspects in India, the understanding is that this segment is roughly around 50,000 crores. And as is the trend worldwide, this is higher than the combined revenue growth of the print and the television media together. Digital advertising currently is around 48% of the overall advertising stream that you have. Big chunk is in the digital advertising. Roughly around 75% is in the search and the social media, the Googles of the world, the WhatsApps and the Facebooks and Twitters. E-commerce has roughly 14% and the OTT platforms have roughly 8%. This is how the breakup is. And this is the fastest growing segment over the last 5 years. And we expect this to become huge and would almost become double in the next 2 to 3 years. That's how we look at the digital advertising sector. And that's where I think the small and the medium enterprises have a huge role. when they can opt for digital advertisements. We have also released a digital advertisement policy in 2023 so that we can empanel large number of online platforms. And I'm sure this would be a happy news to many of you here who belong to these segments. Many of you have your own websites, your mobile apps, your OTT platforms, etc. So now we have a digital advertisement policy, and through which we'll empanel companies which can provide government advertisement support or government advertisements to the digital platforms also. While we were doing it earlier, but this now policy will provide a rubric which will be much more transparent and clear to the digital advertisers. There are large number of changes also occurring in the in the online advertisement sector. I'm not going to talk about those things too much, but primarily that the way targeted advertisements have now started to come in, when we have directed campaigns based on consumer parameters, etc., demographics, user behavior. So again, a lot of emphasis would be there on digital advertisements rather than the broad-based advertisement that were done earlier. A lot of branded interactivity, because there are a lot of things which happen through blended advertisements, which will actually somehow mimic the feeling of real-time sports, etc. Generative AI search is also going to be a game changer in the advertisement space, and it will offer a lot of benefits like efficiency increase and productivity increase. Then in digital and in online advertising industry, there could be changes coming in because of Web 3.0 and also the metaverse part. Now, within the privacy laws leading to the withdrawal of cookies, etc., the digital and the online advertising industry would also go to hyper-personalization now, which and in which artificial intelligence and the gains being made there hold great potential. So, friends, this is from my side. This is a huge segment, the media and the entertainment segment. Online advertisements, online content creation is becoming pivotal to the growth of this segment. And I'm sure this would continue to grow at the exponential rates at which it is growing. I'd like to thank the Internet and the Mobile Association for giving us the opportunity to explain the work that we are doing in the government for this segment. Thank you very much.
So that was very, very insightful, sir. And this very small time, a couple of months, I think, or 2 months. You've been here 2 months now, or less than that?
Sorry. No, I have to complete a month actually.
Complete a month, okay. So quite incredible that you've been able to touch upon sectors. You've been able to touch upon sectors like OTT and how we're working together across various segments, advertising, and about regulation. So two questions to you, sir. One is that digital is a little more complex than the traditional advertising and everything that we've been used to. So we're facing these complexities in the way that we run our business. So how do you actually envision the government and the industry to work together?
See, always having worked with multiple industries and multiple segments in my previous jobs as well, I keep saying that we are the enablers of the business. Effectively, our job is to create a level playing field, provide systems which allow the industry to prosper, and the whole job is of an enabler. And I always say the relationship is not of a benefactor beneficiary. It's the relationship is more of a principal and a client. And what happens is, effectively, if you have clarity in terms of the vision, mission, and the objectives, then broadly government policies will always ensure that uh, the vision being laid out for the industry is met through the programs and the policies that you envision in the government. The policies should never be from the supply side. The policies have to come in from the demand side. And that's how in the afternoon while we were meeting the industry, I actually said that you please provide us the list, because based on that list only then we can carve out the policies. And important thing when it comes to policies is the policy certainty, so that we reduce the risk for the private sector. It's important that we reduce the risk for the industry, and that can only happen with greater exchange of information between the industry and the government. And to an extent, that stability at times actually help us deliver better policy outcomes. And obviously the policies have to be dynamic, because you will not be able to factor in everything in on a real-time basis. And our role as a facilitator would always become much better if we are not just proactive, but we are also reactive to what the industry tells us. So it's a balance between being proactive and reactive. Good thing is that, you know, it is very tough for us to be proactive, because technology would always lead the way. It's for the government's efforts and policies would always lag behind the growth in the industry and the technology, because that's how disruptive the technology is. So I think most importantly, if you are dynamic and, you know, live to the fact that the technologies are disruptive, they are moving at a fast clip, you are having multiple interactions with the stakeholders, possibly you will not lag too much behind. And the challenge is to not allow yourself to lag too much behind. You can't go ahead of the technology, but at least, you know, don't lag too much behind, that it becomes very difficult for you to catch up. I think this is how I look at the relationship between the industry and the government, especially in the technology intensive and sectors like digital.
So that's great news for a lot of us. It's a very, very forward-looking statement. Just one final question, sir. Uh, Now you laid out the impetus you're giving to the industry. How do you see governance panning out under your leadership as far as the digital media ecosystem is concerned? What are your plans? What are the important things you're looking at? What's on your agenda?
So as I mentioned during my talk, digital advertisement now is almost 50% of the overall space occupation. So I think one has to understand that you have to live with it. I mean, it's like, it's a real elephant in the room. I mean, you may recognize it, you may like it, you may not like it, but the fact is, digital advertisement sector is booming right now. And some would argue that at the expense of the other traditional sectors, but yes, it's happening. But at the same time, you know, what happens is, there are a large number of regulations. I can talk about the Consumer Protection Act, because, you know, there are a lot of regulatory matters related to the false and the misleading advertisements, which could be prejudicial to the interests of the consumers. So I think that becomes very important. And then we also have the guidelines for prevention of the misleading advertisements and endorsement for misleading advertisements 2022. I think all these are applicable to the digital advertisement sector. And then there are these multiple sectoral laws, etc. So when it comes to digital advertising, it will always have a lot of competition issues, because you have, one should not say that, but you have dominance of certain technology companies. I mean, the big players, the monopolies that are there. And so that would always be a huge entry barrier, or you can say that I think that's where possibly the level playing field does get disturbed. And at the same time, we also have instances of the opacity of the online advertisements, because many of them are actually programmatic advertising. And sometimes what happens is, releasing too much data about the particular product or to the user, etc., would sometimes impact the advertisers as well as the publishers. Of course, then there are privacy-related issues. Now we have recently enacted the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, and that would actually prohibit targeting of advertisements to children, etc. So now the rules under DD DPDP would further create an enabling framework and would bring clarity towards profile-based targeting of citizens for the purpose of advertisements. Then there are also advertisement frauds by making use of bots and other fraudulent tools. I think that's also an important element, and which the digital advertisement and the industry would have to look at. Important thing is you would also understand that digital advertisements are borderless, unlike the traditional advertising which used to be there. So that's another challenge that you would have to look at. And call them intermediaries or call them direct, that's another question. Because, what do you call it? I mean, you would say that, look, I have published it on my website, but it's not in my control. Now we would say that, look, you have published it on website, you're the publisher, so effectively your control. So I think this again line gets blurred here. So there is another challenge when it comes to digital advertisements. Then technologies are changing. You have a lot of gains being made in artificial intelligence, extended reality, deep fakes, etc. So in fact, there were products being sold by celebrities, and later they realize they have not sold those products. Their deep fakes have sold those products, and so I think some of these challenges are going to be in future becoming much more predominant. And I think the important thing is for all of us to understand that technology is going to grow. Technology is also going to bring in benefits. Technology is also going to bring in challenges. And I think the important thing is to strike a balance so that on the one hand, we protect the users from such practices, but at the same time, allow the advertisers, the digital advertisers, etc., to have enough flexibility so that they can start creating more and more engaging content. Because it's only by doing that that the industry is going to be able to continue capture the eyeballs and remain a predominant force in the advertisement sector. Why I'm mentioning this? Because most of you are, as I understand, this organization pertains to those who publish content online. So bulk of your revenue is actually coming from digital advertisements and online advertisements. So it's important for you to understand that you now occupy a prime position in this, but at the same time, your position has huge multiple regulatory and other challenges which are also growing side by side. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much, sir. And it's incredible to know that you have such deep insights into each of the issues that the industry is facing. So thanks once again. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, the message is very clear that with great power comes great responsibility, and we have a secretary who's willing to walk along with us along this path. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for taking out the time.